Hi, I'm Dara, and this is A Right Way. Let's take a second to talk about the first 10 pages of your script. So, when I first started writing, almost every book I read and all of the conventional wisdom emphasized the importance of capturing the reader's attention in the first 10 pages. So, that means you want to have something that truly moves the story forward, that's engaging, like literally a page turner. And I'm going to tell you something that worked for me along the way that pushes back on that. And that is that you don't have 10 pages, right? You do not have 10 pages. For the most part, the way people read, especially producers, production companies, the way those things are structured, I want you to just use your imagination and pretend for a second you're not a writer. Let's say you work for a production company and you're hired to be one of the readers. And if you're hired to be one of the readers, you might be someone who's just starting out in your career, so you're not being paid a lot of money, or you may even be an intern working on a voluntary basis just so you can be a part of that production company. So you may be getting paid minimum wage or no wage at all. And you are responsible for reading all of the screenplays that pass through that agency, that production company, or by that producer's desk. And they may say, okay, we want you to finish reading these 15 scripts in 1 week and give us some coverage for each script. So coverage is basically a summary that breaks down a description or a synopsis of what the story is about, and also your recommendation. If you would pass, which means that it's a hard no, you're telling the producer, like, please, by no means do I think that you should produce this script. That's a pass. Or a recommendation means you feel strongly that this is a great story and it should move forward. Or there's kind of like different things that you can do that indicate that it's a mid-range for you, like you don't think it's the worst idea in the world, but you're not completely sold that it's the best, and you want to kind of pass it along for the producer to make that final judgment call. So if you have to read 1,500-page scripts in the course of a week, you do the math, you're probably not going to actually read each page of every script. I mean, that's the honest to goodness truth. You may read the first 10 pages, maybe, but oftentimes I see that readers need to be captured right away. And I do remember a friend of mine telling me that she believes in capturing readers in the first 3 pages, but I want to take it a step further and say, get them on page 1. If you're writing that script, because you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person that's the reader, and they have a ton of scripts to read, and there's a lot going on, you got to catch their attention on page number 1. Have something happen right away in your story to pull audiences in immediately. And the first audience, unfortunately, it's not a produced movie, so the first audience is just the person that's reading the script, and you got to pull them in right away. So I believe that you don't have 10 pages. You may only have 1, maybe a page and a half. So make it count. And by the time if you really have something that sparkles and comes alive on the first page, it'll be no problem for them to get through 10 pages. And if they get that far, the odds of them actually finishing the entire script go up by quite a lot. So keep that in mind as you're writing and developing your stories, that you may not have 10 pages. You got to make it happen sooner than later. And now, as your career advances and you have more successes under your belt and you're more connected in the industry and you've produced more projects and you've got a lot of credits, maybe you've won some awards, now all of a sudden, you can take 30 pages to catch people's attention, or 40 pages, because a lot of the big actors, directors, producers, etc., when they know your name in the industry, then they're willing to give you a much longer grace period to get into your story. But when you're starting out and you want that first chance, try to catch them as soon as possible. And I say the best approach is to make something happen on page 1. So thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Keep writing.